Hey everyone, Kyle once again, and welcome back to another movie review. And I would say the last movie review of this year, because after this, I'm gonna have to get into what I usually do every year is the memorabilia of all the good actors now passed away. And I don't know, I recently just heard about Carrie Fisher, sadly, about what happened with her heart attack and everything. She passed away, sadly. So I do say rest in peace on Carrie Fisher for that as well. But now also memorabilia, which I'll include her in that video when I do it, including all the other good actors that passed away this year. And of course, the box office bombs of this year. Then of course, my top worst and best films of this year as well. So to me, this could be the last movie review of this year I will be doing. So after that, I have to get to those. But this one, the last movie review of 2016, I really want to end on a good note, because this one, another film that I absolutely love to death, and given another proper 20th anniversary movie review of 1996. And this is another one I absolutely love, another action film that I loved growing up. Same thing with Big Trouble in Little China, which I reviewed. I love that film to death as well. But of all the action films that I grew up with, like Speed was one of them, without a doubt. Under Siege 2. Of course, Big Trouble in China. And this one right here, which I don't think is, well, yeah, I don't think people don't forget nowadays, sadly. But I would no hesitate to watch, to watch this 20 times over, and I would never get bored of it. And this is another one that also, not only another childhood action film favorite of mine as well, but for my brother as well. Like between this film, Big Trouble in Little China, which this film I wanted him to review this one with me as well. Sadly, declines as well. It's just another missed thing for him, so I have to review it alone. But oh well. And this one, the last review of 2016, proper 20th anniversary movie review of this. Broken Arrow. This film is entertaining as hell. It kicks ass, and it's a badass action film. Even to the point where I think it's also underrated because people don't talk about nowadays. That's how it is. Great cast for our two leads, John Travolta and Christian Slater. Top notch, excellent. And this is a film I would say I have no problems with. Like Big Trouble in China, I hadn't had no problems with as well. This film I would say I had no problems with. And it's directed by John Woo, who directed, of course, after this. The year after, he goes and directs Face Off. But before that, he directed A Hard Target with Van Damme. I love that film as well. That's another great film, action film. Then he directed A Hard Boiled with Chow Yun-fat, which I also enjoy. Which I think that A Hard Target was the first American action film that he has done. After this, then also Face Off, and then Paycheck with Ben Affleck. I think it's a little bit underrated as well. But he has a miss. He has like a one bit of a miss as well. Like he directed Wind Talkers, that war film, which I didn't care for, with Nicolas Cage. That was a huge flop anyway. And then after that, Paycheck was like the last American film he has done. Sadly, I wish he could direct. I wish he could. After that, he went going to direct back to more of his Chinese films. But I wish he would get another shot of directing another American action film, because he's a capable director for action. With this film, Hard Target, just those two alone, I would say so. I would give him another chance to direct another good American action film. But great script and screenplay by Graham Yost, which before this you go on to do the script for Speed as well, which I love Speed. Then after that, he would go write another script for another action film that also starred Christian Slater called Hard Rain, which that film was a flop as well. But I like Hard Rain. Which I think Christian Slater was also good in that film. And I just have so much fun with this movie. I just love this. Ever since I just grew up with this film, me and my brother, we can just watch this film again and again. Which nowadays he seems to fall now in love with it. I was like, yeah, I'm sure. I asked him if he can watch it. Of course he would, though. But just he doesn't watch it as often as I do. I still watch this all the time still. But regardless, he still loves the movie still, and it's just really just so much fun. It's just what more can I say. It's a great action film. It's especially a classic. I'll put that as a classic as well. Like I put Speed an action classic when I reviewed it. This is an action classic as well, but it's just so entertaining. And now it's these 20 years later, I think this film no one talks about. 20 years later, I can't believe it's been 20 years. And it came out. The release date was in February. Was February 9th. That was like kind of an early thing. It's like a little bit after. It's just getting out of January, and this comes out in February. This early February to be exact. Which is kind of odd because between it's mainly January because films don't do that well for big budget films. But this had a modest budget, and it was a hit surprisingly, like about 50 million budget, and made 70 million domestically, and worldwide 150 million. So it was a hit, surprisingly. Maybe because of the fact that maybe because John Travolta was the selling point of it. But Christian Slater, yeah, he did wonderful as well. So, and then Christian Slater, I would buy him as an action star because with this film and then Hard Rain, I would say he makes a pretty capable action star. And other films like he started in True Romance, and of course he did the drama with Untamed Heart, and other films before he did A Broken Arrow, which I liked him in. So yeah, I enjoy Christian Slater. And also other supporting cast members, which they also did really fine as well. Samantha Mathis, which I remember she was in before this. She was in the live action film of Super Mario Brothers as Princess Daisy. I like Super Mario Brothers. Probably one of the few that think that they like the film, but that film gets hit on too. Among supporting cast members, Delroy Lindo, who, among other films, like I just reviewed like a month. Yeah, it was a month ago. I reviewed Ransom, Ron Howard's film Ransom, which also starred Delroy Lindo. And I like Delroy Lindo as an actor as well. He starred other films too. But Ransom, which I reviewed that he starred in, I think it was pretty good in this film. Frank Whaley, he's also in the film like one of the other military guys as well, which he has gained this information from between him and Delroy Lindo. I thought he was just fine as well. He calls a broken arrow. Bob Gunton, who was starring Lieutenant Phillips on Bats, and then he also played in Shawshank Redemption. He was the warden. He was also in The Glimmer Man as a Frank Devereaux. And he's been in other films as well. I remember him because he's a recognizable actor that I would know of. He's a funny bad guy that he plays, Mr. Pritchett. Howie Long, which I also remember him in this film. I know he starred in after this he was starring Firestorm, which he tries to be an action hero, but that's the problem is a guy like him, I don't see him as an action star. I mean, Firestorm, I have to review that film, but it's quite a little bit difficult to review because I don't see Howie Long as an action star. And because you see him in sports, ESPN and all that. Just looking at him, I don't see him as an action star on par with these guys. I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Howie Long in this movie, but Firestorm, but still, as a bad guy, I think he was. I like him as a bad guy in this film. Yeah. So I'm looking at other ones. Kurtwood Smith, who another recognizable actor from Under Siege 2, RoboCop, especially. Um, he's been in other movies as well with Kurtwood Smith. One of the people that's like the monk, given like the exposition, in the typical military the room where all the people's generals and where other military officers speak at. So you got a very capable cast as for the supporting cast, very capable. Score, wonderful, excellent score, top notch score by Hans Zimmer. I love the score growing up as well. This is my second favorite score from Hans Zimmer because before this, it was I remember his score from The Lion King. I love The Lion King. That's my favorite score from Hans Zimmer. It was a very well composed score by Hans Zimmer. I'll always enjoy his score to The Lion King. So that's my favorite score from Hans Zimmer. But this is a very close second for an action film. As for an action film by Hans Zimmer, this is definitely it though. But it's my second favorite because overall my favorite of his is The Lion King. But these are my top two favorite films from scores from Hans Zimmer. Is this film and then the Lion King. Because that score from The Lion King is just very memorable as well. But and plus I enjoyed Hans Zimmer as a composer as well. My favorite is still Jerry Goldsmith though, but he's a very good composer. This film and this score alone just helps him. So love the score. And it's a very fast-paced action film. It's only on for 108 minutes, so technically 148 minutes. Yeah, an hour and 48 minutes. But it's goes at a very fast pace, moves along very fast, doesn't slow down. Great direction by John Woo. Just the action, how the action is handled in this film is very well handled and directed. And I would say no CGI is used in this film. Just a lot of practical explosions and crashes and stuff blowing up. A lot of physical stunt work. And plus, it seems it's like very dangerous as stunt work as well. Just from especially some of the action scenes. So nothing is what's the term? Not softens or lightened up, but they're just going all out on this for the action in this film. So it's not everything is green screen. It's like locations like in the canyons or on the train, which is a great. I always loved how the finale was on the train. I love that how it was ended on the train. It seems like it's nothing green screened and. That's probably why I appreciate this. Why I love it more because it's not. I don't say unless my eyes are playing tricks on me. I don't see like an ounce of CG in this. I don't. Just a lot of physical explosions and stuff crashing. So yeah, and I think it's just very well directed, especially from John Woo. And I would say it's also my favorite it's also my favorite film from John Woo. The second would be Hard Target, and third would be I would say I wouldn't put Face Off because I don't think Hard Boiled is much better than that though. Then I would say Paycheck after that, then I would put Face Off. So but yeah, this is definitely my favorite film from John Woo because I grew up. Well, yeah, of course I grew up with it though, but I watched it countless times and countless times. That's just how much I love this movie. That's why I'm enjoying talking about it because this is a 20th anniversary that I always wanted to give a proper review for. How much it's so much fun, how it's not boring. With Wind Talkers, I would say I was kind of bored with it. So that's the problem. I think the problem from John Woo's Wind Talkers was I think I was just kind of bored with it. I know my dad's is a fan of that movie, Wind Talkers, but I wasn't. But okay, so, and I think it was because I think how I think he was after Pulp Fiction. I think that's how John Woo looked at how John Travolta was in Pulp Fiction. I think he made him get the role in this. And with Christian Slater, how he was offered this, I think he had to quit smoking to star in the film to get more in shape. And I think I didn't see that. And looking at this, I didn't know he was a smoker, but it worked out. It worked out very well at the end because he's all running and he's doing a lot of stuff. So yeah, and it looked like Christian Slater was doing a lot of the stunts on his own. Maybe there were, I guess, maybe there was a fight, a stunt double though, but for the most part, for what I saw, it looked like he was doing a lot of the stunts on his own, and just a lot of fun gunfights and explosions. I'm talking about how okay. I know I'm already 15 minutes in, but I just want to get to. I'm just talking about how much I love this movie. Just get into the story. Okay. The story is that at first how the way it opens up, just how when it shows the title and you view from the on top viewpoint, it shows this boxing ring, but you see it from the top, and it shows with Christian Slater and John Travolta is boxing one another, and just with mixing with Hans Zimmer's wonderful score, and there's just how the way it's edited, and when Christian Slater was give him $20, like, oh no, you keep it, and Christian Slater's like, no, this is yours. I took it from your wallet, waiting for the shower. And I just love growing up. I just loved how, between a good guy and a bad guy, I just loved how the chemistry was with John Travolta and Christian Slater. I bought it, because it seemed like they were friends and stuff like that. But when John Travolta turns on Christian Slater, and it still gets the fun banter between each other. That's why I just love about it. This is why I don't see this nowadays. I just don't. This is why I loved about it growing up. How it was a good 90s action film. This is what I wanted to see from a 90s action film. I don't see none of that today. I don't. Nothing compares like how it was in the 90s. Not even close. But they're air pilots. They're taking the stealth bomber with holding these two nuclear weapons, and it was one of the fun ones when John Travolta turns on Christian Slater, tries to shoot him, and they try to switch the bombs back and forth, but then ultimately John Travolta ejects Christian Slater, and then he ejects himself on his own as he drops the bombs, and he gets out before the plane crashes. And there's this team that's setting up to find the nuclear bombs. One on the team is Howie Long. He's part of this team as well. And when Christian Slater, when he lands, I liked how he of course with this whole thing with $20, like you see throughout this whole movie, like he knows that he gives that round to Deakins. That's John Travolta's character. He lays down a $20 bill and says, well, "You won that round." And he's just go to walk whatever where he can go to. And when John Travolta, he meets up with his group of mercenaries. One of the guys who is like paying for this money is Bob Gunton, is Mr. Pritchett, and then when the military team finds the nuclear weapons, they get shot at, and Howie Long, he turns into a bad guy, shoots the one last survivor military guy. And I like how he was like, how he's calling the home base that whether John Travolta has like a razor plane, make him seem like a stag. It's like, oh my god, they're all dead. Oh, what am I gonna do? Howie Long was having fun on that part, I could tell. And John Travolta, he's just so much fun as well. Most of the lines of dialogue was just very funny, because that's what I liked about it, was the humor was. It was handled well as well, just like how Big Trouble in China was hilarious. Especially for the point it was coming from Kurt Russell, I found it fun and hilarious. I get the same thing sort of like right here with John Travolta, like when the dialogue when he's talking with Bob Gunton, and when talking about if they'll pay up, when he's gonna use the nuclear bombs, and Mr. Pritchett says, what if they don't, and John Travolta says, well, if they don't, the Southwest will be a quiet neighborhood for about 10,000 years. So the humor I always enjoyed. It's very hilarious and funny. It makes me smile. It gives me a chuckle every time. Then it's when Christian Slater he meets up with Samantha Mathis, who's a park ranger, and when she finds him, she's held him at gunpoint. When he takes the gun, she pulls out a knife. We have ourselves a standoff. So, and then when they're fine, they're cool with each other until they go back to her truck, and the bad guys take the chopper, that shoots up her truck, nice explosion, and they're running, and they run down this canyon, and while they're both getting shot at, not John Travolta, Christian Slater, he takes a gun, he falls back and forth, tries to shoot the helicopter, and it goes over him. And as he's running low on bullets, as he's trying to reload some more, Samantha Mathis climbs up to as a distraction. She's like, "Don't shoot!" And the guy's like, "Where is he? I don't know." And then he gets a good line of sight, and he goes and shoots the guy through below that little opening where the chopper is. Shoots him like right about here on the neck, and it's a good bloody shot. And the copter loses control, takes a nosedive down, hits the ground. Actual, not CG. An actual helicopter falling down, and the blade, the rear tail end of the blades almost hitting Samantha Mathis. Really good, excellent stunt work, and it seems very dangerous, especially where that blade is almost hitting Samantha Mathis. Very dangerous, and it's very well done. That's what I loved about it. It's not CG, then explodes, and then since they can't use the chopper, they're gonna load the nuclear warheads on the trucks. And they go out, and the Christian and Samantha Mathis, they go after the trucks. The one that's in front, Christian Slater shoots like one guy in the foot and tosses him out. And I like how John Travolta, Howie Long was one who was driving though, but I just like how they don't care if the guy just they toss out their own guy and just goes and runs them over like that. And then when John Travolta's like, "Hell, well, goddamn," that's Christian Slater's character as well. What else? Oh, and then when the start where Christian Slater he got actually gets off the truck, but he's like running, and while the other vehicle is running up behind him, but he manages to jump in the nick of time, and he gets an idea where he takes his gas can with a flare, and then John Travolta's like, "What the fuck are you up to, Hale? Don't even." And then he throws it, lands on their truck, and then boom, a nice fire explosion. And he's like, "Oh, I was like, oh shit, whatever." John Travolta is so much fun. This is also I love Pulp Fiction and other stuff that John Travolta has done. But this is absolutely my favorite because he's just so much fun. I can tell he's having fun, and I'm having fun. Just how his lines of dialogue and his expressions and all that. It is absolutely my favorite film for John Travolta. Definitely. I would say the same thing with Christian Slater as well. Because John Travolta, I haven't seen John Travolta have this much fun for me to see, and just so entertaining. So they managed to give him the slip. They go to this mine. And Christian Slater has the idea that he's gonna like push buttons, to disarm the bomb. But as he calls John Travolta, and which John Travolta had already thought of the idea, and he knows that he was gonna do that, so he already set it for it to go off. But when he was pressing the time on purpose, so he already thought that out. So now he's planning to take the bombs down and deep into the mine because it'll be a much less big explosion from the surface than it is down below. So, and then you have another fun shootout in the mine with the one guy, which John Travolta says again. He's like, "Will you please don't shoot at the nuclear weapons?" So it's another fun shootout, and like Christian Slater, he's shooting some more. He has both guns, and he's shooting, and he just goes and takes a dive while shooting as well. I thought that was a good fun action part where he goes and just he's taking both guns and goes takes a dive forward shooting. So much fun. I'll keep on repeating the same thing, but it's just if you watch this film, I don't see how anybody could like this film. It's so much fun to watch. Maybe if they're not fans of Christian Slater, maybe, but I like Christian Slater. I think we did a really excellent job. And then the one guy, he goes and he's going to take a grenade, and John Travolta, he actually shoots his own guy because he thinks Christian Slater comes out because he dives and actually shoots his own guy. And he drops the grenade, but Christian Slater catches it and goes and throws it at John Travolta. But it causes a block, so they're both cut off from each other. But John Travolta was able still to talk to him. And he explains how he's gonna do when he gets paid up. He's like, "I got brokers. I got buy me 5%, buy me 5% of Volvo." And then I like how with a funny line with what's that line when he says to John Travolta, where is it? I want to get this part right here. Just let me give it a second to look. No, it's not here. But how it usually was, how it ended is like John Travolta's like, "What was that?" And Christian Slater's like, "You're fucked in the head, Deke." So she was like, "Ha!" And Christian Slater's like pissed him off. That's how it was. I was gonna try to find what was a full on quote on that, but I liked how it ended though, when it says pissed him off. So now John Travolta and Howie along they take the last nuclear bomb with and Christian Slater and Samantha Mathis. They get this this underwater tunnel which leads them to this open lake, and with Howie Long, John Travolta and Bob Gunton, they're driving while they're getting chased by this one helicopter, and Bob Gunton he keeps open his mouth. He doesn't shut up, right? He's annoying John Travolta. And he takes like this look like a flashlight, and goes and just whacks him right around here and crushing like his windpipe right here, and he's like and then John Travolta's like, "Hush, hush." Oh man, he just makes me smile. His line of the dog just makes me smile. Oh, this. So he stopped the vehicle and he sees a Bob Gunton is like this, and he's just sitting there having a smoke, right? And he's like, I've actually never killed anybody before. Yeah, I dropped bombs at Baghdad, but never face to face. I don't know what the big deal is. I really don't. He's like sitting there just having a smoke, and he's just waiting for the nuclear bomb to go off, and good explosion. How it causes this cave in the ground, and it causes electromagnetic pulse (EMT) and shut off all electronic things, including the chopper. It was a shockwave, and just real. Once again, not CG helicopter, an actual helicopter falling down, good actual explosion, and John Travolta once again, another great funny line, I was like, "God damn, what a rush. Woo!" And it's like, Howie was like, "Son of a bitch, shockwave took down a damn chopper. That's EMT, electromagnetic pulse, sends it out for miles, shuts down everything, including choppers and radios." And I was like, "Deke, you the man. I'm the man." And then he's like, hey, he tosses Bob Gunton's body out. I was like, "Mr. Pritchett, you mind stepping outside?" Just tosses his body out. I was like, John Travolta, I just love John Travolta's movie. That's why I say it's my favorite, because he's just so much fun, the lines that he gives, and just, it makes me smile so much. But, and one thing leads to another is that, they find the Christian Slater and Samantha Mathis. They get onto this. They find this boat where they're putting the next bomb on, but they see that they're coming. So Samantha Mathis she hides in the boat while he gets away. And one of the least another is that Christian Slater finds it back with Delroy, Lindo, and Frank Whaley, And well, Samantha Mathis follows the rest of them onto the train, and Christian Slater is explaining everything to Delroy, Lindo, and Frank Whaley, while he's like, who's gonna Delroy, Lindo's gonna help Christian Slater. I was like, what was the line? It was like, those kind of rules, wherever it's like, good, because I'm about to break them. And they're looking at the map, they're thinking that he knows this could be on a train, and he thinks that to this one point was going to be like Salt Lake City, where they thought that's where they're actually going to, but he's actually going to turn out to go to Denver. That's where he's really heading at, and that's where we get such a great, exciting, entertaining, fun finale on the train, because I like trains, because I like how action films are going on trains. Well, for the most part, it's this film and Under Siege 2, basically. Under Siege 2. I like how fun action film when it's on a train. And I like how this when it's on a train. Not just a typical, if it's like on trucks or whatever, but it's on a train. I like that it was on a train. But, and Samantha Mathis, she gets like, and one thing is, though, she's not just, she's a strong character. She does have some fight in her, and she doesn't like oh, I'm just the damsel in distress where to be rescued. No, she fights, holds a fight on her own. Like, she gets in this fight to this one guy, who's like the programming the bomb in, and the guy, while he's just talking about, was like, oh, you thought I was a computer nerd, didn't you? Wrong. I was a Navy SEAL, lady. You can see what I can do with just my thumb. And she just goes and throws a hammer right into the guy's head. Puts a big mold right on his head right there. He goes, oh! Just puts a nice mold right on the guy's forehead. So she's capable of holding on her own in a fight. But then when John Travolta holds her at gunpoint, makes her push the buttons, to activate the bomb. And she disarms, like, oh, I thought you were gonna fold. And he's like, well, I'm dead either way, so do it yourself, asshole. And then when they open the door, Christian Slater's on the chopper holding a gun on him. They're both shooting at each other. Then Christian Slater gets on the train to help Samantha Mathis, and Delroy Lindo gets a drop of one other guy, shoots that guy right there. And then they get chased by two more bad guys. Delroy Lindo has like, let's get those guys a haircut. And I thought it was a good stunt work, whatever. And where one guy ducks down, but the other guy, he gets hit by the blades of the chopper. It's a good explosive, like bloody death. It's like this part right here, just gets hit by the blades of the chopper, just explodes and just ugh. That's a brutal death right there. I just can't get hit by the blades of the chopper, just and sends him flying off the train. And then another part where the other guy says freeze, and Christian Slater is like, he sees that the Samantha Mathis took from that gun from that one guy she killed with the hammer. She put it like in the back of her pants here, and he like puts this one gun down, and he takes the other gun from her and just shoots like from between her legs, and she's like closing her eyes, and it's like, wow, that was a first for me too. So, and then Christian Slater is gonna like mess with this one helicopter that they're gonna get away with, like makes like the gas leak, and gets in a fight with this one other guy, and it looks like Christian Slater. And he's like on below the train, but he's getting dragged. And it looks like most of the party is Christian Slater. He does, for like most of this movie, it looks like he was doing all the stunts on his own. I commend him from that for doing that, because for most of it looks like he's doing it on his own, especially when he's being dragged from underneath. And then she pulls Samantha Mathis on down below with him because knows what's going to happen. When John Travolta are ready to leave, John Travolta sees like the gas leak, and he's like, "Cut the power!" And the guy didn't hear. As soon as he starts it up, another really good explosion. This helicopter. What was it? I think it was like, what's one? They got the plane, the first chopper, the second So I'm trying to count here. So 1, 2, 3. Oh, yeah, 4 or 5. Yeah, like 5 choppers were exploding in this one. Well, with the stealth bomber plane first, so but then 4 other ones. Like one in the canyon, one from that EMP, then this one here, and then the other one. So yeah, so for this one, another actual fun, good explosion, and it's an actual explosion, not once again not CG. And you see as the explosion goes, you see one bad guy just fly off, and he's like on fire as well. That was not a CG person just flying off. It was an actual a stunt person flying off while it like seemed like part of him was on fire. That's why I like about it, especially with John. With John, he knows how to direct how the way it edits things, and I don't know why is this that difficult to do. But everything has been nowadays. Everything has to be CG. Everything needs to be CG. Backgrounds, explosions, and everything, and probably some stunt people like it for dangerous. But this is not that difficult to do. That's why stuff like this makes it like, oh wow, everything is so great. It was all these real explosions and everything. I don't get that nowadays. Maybe there's one more where you see an actual real explosion though, but 99% of the time it's all CG explosions. Tired of seeing that though. That's why I love these 90s movies and 80s films. Everything is done with real explosions and real stunt work. They're putting effort into them. So, after that good explosion, that good stunt guy flying off, um, John Travolta, he said he was going to disarm the bomb, but he's like, fuck them if they can't take a joke, and he resets it for like 5 minutes, and Howie Longseas like, what the fuck are you doing? And it's like, he tells him to shut it off. And to be honest, it is kind of like a long 5 minutes, though, between that point where he says it and then the fight between him and Christian Slater. It does seem like it's a very long 5 minutes, though, as they drag it out. But still, I'm not complaining, because I'm having very fun with this, though. But, like, Christian Slater distracts one of the dead bodies from earlier, and make things like it's Hale, and they're both shooting, and Christian Slater goes and jumps right through into the opening of the boxcar, and it's like, incoming! And while I'm forgetting what I'm doing, throughout this whole movie, I'm just hearing this good score, with this great score by Hans Zimmer. I love The Lion King though, but talk about this movie though. Throughout this whole movie, it's just a great, wonderful score by Hans Zimmer. Especially when the score is going through, and when he's when he comes through and kicks Howie Long out, and he says him falling to his death. And of course, you hear that that scream. You hear in other movies that you hear that scream in other movies as well. Sends him flying to his death. And then once John Travolta's out of ammo, he tells him like, "You lose. I stick my hand on the trigger. That's the remote. You see, if I push this button here, you lose. And if I push this button here, the weapon is disarmed. Why don't you disarm it? I'm not in the mood. Now get rid of your weapon. Get rid of your weapon. Come on. That a boy. Now you can come and get it. You just have to. It was like, you can shut it off. You just have to come and get it. And $20 that I took from you last night. Once again, with the $20 again. And then he's like, Christian Slater, you're out of your mind. Yeah, ain't it cool? I'm serious, Deke. Your mind is taking a walk off a map. Maybe, but I'm still gonna kick your ass. Do I need to say more? Wow, how John Travolta is so much fun in this movie, and so is Christian Slater. Do I need to say more? I just love John Travolta. I love Christian Slater. It's hilarious. The dialogue is hilarious, but yet it's fun. And then we get to the fist fighting, and John Travolta's like, "Oh, you're bleeding now. Well, that's good. Let's see if we can't get more out of you, huh?" Um, and then while it's going on, Samantha Mathis, she uncouples that car that they're in, and this is one of like the train driver with a sniper shoots at her, and she shoots him back, and makes him hit the brakes on the train, stopping the front of the train, while the boss car that Travolta and Slater are at still going, moving. And like for like the time, like short time, like Travolta's just beating up Christian Slater, and he's like, your brain presses to get your skull, and it feels like this. And then this when he's hitting with a crowbar and he catches it, and Christian Slater he just goes and drops it. And this is where we get that once again the score by Hans Zimmer, and he's getting his comeback. Christian Slater's comeback is boom boom, and he sees that he's going to be on a collision course, and takes the remote and does like a typical like how a '90s action film would do. He jumps out with a spin as he switches the bomb off with a remote, and as the rest of the train collides, and the bomb, and John Travolta just looking as the bomb is going, it's flying towards him, just goes and pushes him through. Once again, great explosion of the train blowing up. Great explosion. And then he sees that the bomb is off, and then he sees that the $20 bill burned. He's like, I win. And then, sir, please turn around, Samantha Mathis. And they probably introduce themselves. My name is Riley Hale. Terry Carmichael. Pleased to meet you. You're still under arrest, Captain. Oh, really? I guess you better take me in. I like how it doesn't end with a typical, with the hero kissing the lead girl. It is they handshake it off. They're just holding hands, and then ends with a title, Broken Arrow, with the score by Hans Zimmer. Man, just the excitement for me to talk about this is wearing me out. It's just, it just disappoints me. I wish my brother was like right here next to me talking about it, but he doesn't want to. It's a great shame. It shows how much he loves this movie, how much one of his favorite action films, next to Big Trouble in Little China and Under Siege 2. I just wish he was right here talking about how much he loves about the movie, but he doesn't want to, and that's kind of makes me feel disappointed about it, though. But whatever. I can't force him if he wants to choose not to do it. But I think I haven't been excited to do a review where I've been excited like this for quite some time. Oh no, I did. How much I love Big Trouble in Little China. I did the same thing for that though. But this film just, I don't know why it gets hated. Sometimes I feel like it gets hated on me. It has a 6.0 on IMDb. I think I give it a much higher rating. Definitely. Has a 53% on Rotten Tomatoes. I give it a much higher rating than that. And it was a hit though, but apparently it was given mixed reviews. Especially this is the one that with Roger Ebert and Gene Siskel. Roger Ebert he gave this film a thumbs down, but originally Gene Siskel he gave it a thumbs up though. But Roger Ebert made him change his mind and made him change his mind, so Gene Siskel just gave it a thumbs down instead. So he was originally gave this film a thumbs up, but Roger Ebert made him change his mind. I mean, both of them rest in peace, though, but Roger Ebert, I know you have the right to your opinion about how to give a thumbs down, but you influencing Gene Siskel to, he was going to give a thumbs up, but you made him change his mind. So, but, I don't, I mean, and then, Face Off, the next John Woo film after this, that got like a much higher ratings than IMDb and Rotten Tomatoes. But to me, I disagree with. I think it should have been the exact flip opposite. I think this film should get the more of the pass like Face Off did. I like Face Off though, but to me, this is way better, much more fun. If I review Face Off, I will probably have that less excitement as I am right now talking about Broken Arrow. So, I'm just want to quickly look at any other trivia up. Because I know one part I was looking up the Christian Slater had to give up smoking to be in shape for this. Um, see here, yeah. Yeah, look, it's like right here. In the review on the movie with Siskel and Ebert represents like the only time in history where Roger Ebert convinced Gene Siskel to change his mind about his final judgment of the film. Siskel originally gave this movie a thumbs up, but after hearing Ebert gave the movie a thumbs down and explaining his reasoning, Siskel decided to change his judgment to thumbs down. Siskel, on the other hand, had never successfully convinced Ebert to change his mind about a movie during an episode on their show, which was At the Movies. Although Ebert had occasionally changed his own mind in print reviews. So yeah, Gene Siskel never influenced Roger to change his mind about his opinion when Gene Siskel wanted to do something, but Roger Ebert made Gene Siskel change his mind how he felt about it. But even though Roger Ebert has changed his own mind, his own reasons, but Gene Siskel never asked Ebert to change his mind to agree with him. So yeah. I don't get it though, but still. And let me see here. Yeah, like I said, in preparation for the role of the movie, Christian Slater gave up smoking, which worked out for him because he looked like for all the stunt work for most of the film he did, seemed to work out. Director John Woo originally wanted Hale to die during the film. That probably would have ruined the movie for me because I liked Christian Slater. I probably would have ruined the movie for me. Anything else? Yeah, Christian Slater did almost all of his stunts. Yeah, I was wondering because for the most part, if I'm I could see that was for the most part on screen. It was Christian Slater doing his own things. I didn't quite see any stunt doubles, probably for a couple of things. But for the most part, I didn't see any stunt doubles. For the most part, it was him doing his own thing, like when he was under the train, or doing like the shooting out in the mine, or whatever, or running from when they're during the car chase of the Humvees. Let's see. Howie Long did his own stunts on the film. Yeah. The film missed its original December 1995 release date when special effects work could not be completed on time, so the film was changed to February. So the film was given around a release date in December 1995, but I guess they said they couldn't complete their special effects, so they had to move it to February. So I think would have been weird for this type of film to come out around Christmas time. I think it probably would have been weird though, but hey, for special effects, it was well worth to move it for the special effects. It was well worth it because special effects was awesome in this movie, top notch. No CGI from what I saw. No CG, actual stunt work, actual explosions, crashes, whatever. So for that, to me, I thought was well worth it. Yeah, and also yeah, with Hans Zimmer's score, I forgot to mention this part. Yeah, it was reused in Scream 2, like in the part, dum 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 da 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 da. That was reused in Scream 2, which was kind of odd to be in a horror film, a slasher film. So yeah, that was kind of odd, but yeah, that was used in Scream 2. That piece of the score from Hans Zimmer. Yeah, so yeah, most of the action sequences were shot on location, not a studio set. Which is, yeah, to me it looked like it was like in the great outdoors, not on a stage set, like from the canyons and the like on the train. It seemed like it was on open ground and a lot of stuff. Yeah, I do like the locations. It looked like it was nice and how the desert type of how it looked. Yeah, so it looked like it was like on us on Maybe it was like a few stages. Maybe the mine was maybe like a stage set though, but from the outside and the outdoors, nice. Try to find anything else. I'm just taking my time because I just want to give this a full proper 20th anniversary review because it's probably well worth it for a long review because I just want to give as much stuff as I can to talk about this film, but probably I already have, so. But yeah, I think that would be it though on that. But yeah, any final thoughts? Final thoughts on Broken Arrow? I have no problems with. I love this film to death. It's definitely one of my all-time favorite action films. My favorite John Woo film. My favorite Christian Slater and John Travolta film. It's my second favorite score from Hans Zimmer because I put the Lion King above this. But yeah, it's definitely two of the best from Hans Zimmer. The Lion King and Broken Arrow. Grew up with those scores. They're just memorable to listen to. The directing by John Woo is top notch. The fights, directing, the editing, how the action sequences are performed, stunt work, explosions, special effects are awesome. The cast do such a wonderful job, especially John Travolta and Christian Slater. John Travolta is so much fun to watch. He's hilarious and love the lines of dialogue they says that makes me chuckle and smile. Christian Slater, he was a good action hero like this in Hard Rain. Samantha Mathis, I thought she was very fine as well. She held her own, like she kills a couple guys. You know, she wasn't held her own, like she killed that one guy with a hammer or shoots that other guy with just to help stop the train. What else? Delroy Lindo, I forgot to mention about this one part where Delroy Lindo helped him up a little bit, kill a couple bad guys on the train, but John Travolta and Howie Long, they shoot at the chopper, and he gets killed, sadly. And the helicopter tries to make up this hill, but couldn't make it, but crashes and explodes. Another good actual explosion. I forgot to mention about that scene. So that's the fifth helicopter crash of the movie. Well, at the beginning, you count the stealth bomber plane. So 4 helicopter explosions. And sadly, there's no features on this film. I mean, it just has a trailer and that's it. I mean, come on. For a film that's such entertaining, it deserves to have special features. Like, it does not have a commentary on this film. I wouldn't find it if it was a commentary, just, you know, John Woo or the producers or whatever, or even John Travolta or Christian Slater. But no features, sadly. The script's by Graham Yost, really top-notch script. Because, like, he did Speed after this Hard Rain. But I just said there's no features on this film, so I would like to hear a commentary on it, just be perfectly fair. But no, they can't. Of all the John Woo films, they probably will pick with the face off though. But I love Hard Target, but this film is also Hard Target is my second favorite. This film, because I grew up with this film first, I love this film to death. You know, it just disappoints me because I just wish my brother was here to see this, to review this film with me. Just right here, just talking about it. It's a childhood favorite of childhood action film of his, next to Big Trouble in Little China and Under Siege 2. But so if all of the 2 films I wanted him to review with me, it was this film and Big Trouble in Little China. Whatever. But I love everything about this: directing, script, music, action, stunts. I love everything about this. I have no problems with it. Dialogue, characters, the actors. Like I said, John Travolta, loads of fun, excellent. Christian Slater, and all these reviews I absolutely do agree with. From WWOR TV, a sensational supersonic hit, which the film was a hit. It will blow you away. Peter Travers from Rolling Stone. It's a breathless, non-stop joyride from WCBS TV. all these reviews I definitely would agree with. Definitely 2 thumbs up for me, without a doubt in my mind. It's very fast paced. It's not boring. This doesn't drag on. It's a childhood favorite of mine, especially one of the best my favorite action films of all time. I'm just, I'm just worn out because I just love this. I love this film. But anyway, yeah, that's my I'm going almost an hour in. That's close enough. So that's my review for the final review for movie review for 2016, and the proper 20th anniversary of Broken Arrow, which definitely does deserve. And hopefully now, but next year is 1997, so I'll have to give like 20th anniversary reviews for 1997. So stay tuned for that for when we enter the year. So yeah, and after this review, last review, movie review 2016, which does end on a very good note. Do those videos like I said at the beginning of the video. But yeah, hope you enjoyed my long review, but proper 20th anniversary movie review of Broken Arrow. It definitely does deserve a 20th anniversary review. Love this film to death. Love everything about it. I would recommend people who have not seen this film. I highly recommend to check it out if people have not seen it. But love this film to death. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned on the next when we get to the reviews I was gonna do. So thanks for watching, and stay tuned. I mean, I'm just worn out because how much exciting I was for this film. But ending up with a big smile on my face at the end of the day. But thanks for watching, and stay tuned.